to understand what generative AI tools have you used before. So can you click on, go to your browser, slido.com, and then put this code and provide your response. You can select multiple answers. Interestingly, I think everyone knows what is ChatGPT and have used ChatGPT before, but the rest, not so much. For those who just try, can you submit this? I'll just give another 1 more minute. Okay, so almost everyone use ChatGPT. Okay, not many people use Gen AI for image generation and etc. But basically, what is Gen AI? Generative AI is a subset of traditional machine learning, and it has ability to find statistical pattern in a massive, a very large data set. Okay, basically, the large language model have been trained on trillions of words over many weeks, many months, and within a very large amount of compute power. So the foundation model, it is actually with billions of parameters, and also it is used to, it can be used to create a lot of different applications to help people. So basically, if you know, these are all the large language model that has been available. GPT is by OpenAI. It's an auto-regression model that generates text by predicting one word at a time based on the previous words. There's also Bloom, Palm, Llama, Bird, Friend, T5. These are all the models that is available. So how large language model works is that you provide the prompt, okay, this is what you want to ask, okay, and we call this a prompt, and it will actually pass through the model and provide an output with that what we call as a completion. Okay, and of course, this model have been trained using a very large data set to provide a better or much more accurate completion. Yeah. So what are some of the use cases for LLM? I think a lot of you know that in the past, everyone is like talking about Gen AI, LLM, and etc. And 100% of you have used ChatGPT before, okay? But there are actually a lot of use cases besides using ChatGPT. You can actually use Gen AI together with IoT to report changes in worksite environment. So this is actually a company that they integrate with IoT to provide like a response Okay, like here they ask, can you show me the streaming camera? And the output is basically the streaming camera images. Okay, so here instead of us, we have to, in the past, you go to a specific application, go and find it, etc. Generative AI actually can help to provide the response faster and also assist human to reduce the amount of time you need to do something. Okay, and if you can see here, like how much is the water tank filled right now, so basically it can just tell you the number instead of going through charts and etc. Yeah, like how traditional IoT works. In addition, you can also write a brief based on recent reports. Okay, like for example, this is an example how London Office of Technology and Innovation do. Okay, where they use prompts to provide a brief from a report on that propose a transport solution. So instead of the mayor or the city council going through the report one by one, they can actually summarize it using Gen AI. Okay, this is how they use ChatGPT. Uh, uh, Using the prompt, they evaluate, and then of course they will see whether the output is what they want or not. Another example, how local council, this is what you, if you're a local council, you can actually write a memo uh, using ChatGPT or LLM to help you write a memo to the residents. So I'm just giving you an example here. They want, like in Penang, we actually introduce a waste segregation at source, okay? And they want to in the past few years, they actually implemented this, but people start forgetting about waste segregation. So they want to write a memo and tell the residents. So what uh, the local council can do is that they can actually use ChatGPT. Okay, this is a ChatGPT, and let me uh, just copy and paste the prompt. Okay, and it can come out with the draft, okay, listing the benefits, okay, and ask the community to support, okay. And if you see just now, based on the poll, we have like ChatGPT, we also have Gemini by Google. You can actually use the same thing. Oops, write a memo. Okay, so you can use different chat to help in your work. Okay, here the output will be slightly different from ChatGPT if you see here. Okay, the way they write and etc. So how do you utilize this? Basically, as a community or someone who use Gen AI, it can actually help you to work smarter and also faster. Instead, previously you need to spend some time writing the letter from scratch, and you have to create it. Right now, your role is more on curation. Recently, some researchers actually use Gen AI to create to source for new materials for built environment as well. Okay, so there are a lot of benefits of using LLM. This is one of local companies that have used LLM. They created an application to help companies develop ESG reporting. So ESG is something very new, especially in Southeast Asia, where companies right now need to provide their reports indicate their environment sustainability and also the governance to look at how what's their carbon footprint and etc. So this company, Sustainix, is actually a local Malaysian company. They created a chat ESG where it helps company to simplify their ESG journey. That means the companies, if because ESG is something new here, and there will be a lot of questions. So they created the model, the application, so that you can get the insights, the regulatory guidelines, etc., using this chat ESG. And also it helps to map their ESG indicator into the FTSE4Good and etc. So these are for companies. Cities are also using this. In New York, they have this My City chatbot that provides information to small, medium businesses and to help them. For example, they want to start up a cafe. So the chatbot actually assists them step by step what they can do or what they need to do to start off. So basically, to stay relevant right now, AI, you cannot run away with it, whether you are a technical person or non-technical person, because companies are looking to hire candidates with AI job. Basically, 71% of the leaders say that they rather hire a less experienced candidate but with AI skill instead of more experienced candidate without AI skill. In recently, the director of AI innovation at AI Singapore, Mr. Lawrence Liu, also said that you have to give the AI a lot of context, treat it like a hardworking intern that will make mistake occasionally. So a lot of people are right now very scared. Will AI replace them or not? Actually, it will not, because you still have to go and read through, analyze, do the fact check, prove it, and also use it just as a starting point, not the end point. If you use Gen AI as an endpoint, then you will find that there's a lot of things that may or may not be accurate. Yeah. So, but it's a number one skill that you need right now to stay relevant. So basically, what is Gen AI? It's not something new. Okay. In the past, if you are in AI research, you may have heard about recurrent neural network or RRN. Okay. That has been used for language as a language model. So RRN is basically very limited in terms of the amount of compute and also memory needed to perform well in generative tasks. Because language is very complex, so sometimes you will have a few interpretations. Like here, the man saw the boy with a telescope. There can be a few meanings. It can be the man used the telescope to see the boy, or the man saw the boy who had a telescope. Okay, like I said, language is very complex. So how do you process this information? Okay, it started off with this paper, Attention is All You Need, by Google and also University of Toronto. Basically, they developed what we call the transformer. That actually, based on transformer, it unlocks the progress in generative AI that we see today. Basically, in here, in the transformer, inside you have what we call the self-attention, where it actually connects, unlike the traditional method where it looks at words by words, it actually relates each of the words and also between the one word and the next one and every other words. Okay, and from here it apply the attention weight to this relationship. Okay, so basically with self-attention with a weight, then it can actually understand the relevance of every word. So if you can see here, the man saw the boy with the telescope. Okay, you can see that there is quite a big weight between the boy and the man with the telescope. And from there, the model will then interpret and encode the language or the sentence. Okay, so what are the technology behind? And if you are someone who wants to develop the application or innovation using Gen AI, where to start off? Okay, like I said, transformer is basically the most core technology. Inside there's encoder and also the decoder. Okay, if you see here, the input is actually at the bottom, okay, and the output is at the top. Basically, any machine learning models is just a big statistical calculator. They work with numbers, they don't really work with words. Okay, so the language, the sentence just now, okay, if you pass through here, what it will do, the model, firstly, you need the application or the program will tokenize the word first, convert the word into number, with each number represent the position in the dictionary of all the possible words that the model can work with. And then to tokenize it, there are multiple tokenization methods, okay, such as matching token ID to complete the words or part of the word. When you want to do the training of the model and also generating the text, it's very important for you to use the same tokenizer. So once you tokenize it, and then you pass to the embedding, the input embedding. Here, basically, it will be represented as a vector in a very high dimensional space. This will encode the meaning and the context of the individual tokens, so that the vectors will actually help to relate the words and understand their contextual relationship mathematically. Of course, if once you do that, okay, to make sure that the word order is preserved, then you have the positioning encoding. Okay, this will actually add the token vector to preserve the order. And then in the transformer, basically it uses multi-headed self-attention here, where the sets of attention weight are learned in parallel. Each head will then learn different aspects of the language, such as the relationship between the entities, the activities, or the properties. And the attention weight are learned during the training. And the output is processed through a fully connected feed-forward network here, as you can see. So basically, the fully connected network is like is a type of neural network where each neuron in the one layer is connected to every neuron in the next layer. And from here, you can actually send to, before it comes out with the output, the logic will actually pass through the softmax layer, where it normalizes them into probability score for every words. And the token with the highest score is the most likely predicted token. Yeah. So this is basically a simple transformer architecture where you can see the encoder and also the decoder, where the encoder takes the input, process it to generate a context-aware representation, and the decoder process the input token, generate new tokens based on the contextual information provided by the encoder. So basically, normally the in the transformer, you have the encoder-decoder architecture, but can we use only encoder or decoder or not? That's my question to you. What do you think? I will start another poll right now. So what do you think? Can transformer architecture works using only an encoder or decoder? You can join, go back to the browser, join using this code. It's okay. There's no right. This is not a test. It's just to see how much you actually understand about transformer and also Gen AI. Yes. Okay. So majority said yes. Yeah. So transformer, you can actually have encoder only model or decoder only model. Basically, encoder-only model are used for tasks that require understanding and representation of the input text, such as text classification, sentiment analysis, or entity recognition. So an example of encoder-only model is like BERT, bidirectional encoder representation from transformer. This actually process the entire input sequence at once to capture the contextual relationship. Yeah. Decoder-only model is typically used for text that involve generating text, such as text generation, language modeling, and also auto-regression text completion. So one of the most popular decoder-only model is actually GPT, okay, where it generates text by predicting the next token in the sequence based on the previous generated sequence. And of course, we also use encoder-decoder model like what you see in the original paper of the attention, the authors from the attention paper. Okay, where like some of the applications for encoder decoder is actually in text summarization. Yeah, so this is actually used by T5 text-to-text transform model. Right now, you understand a little bit basic about the underlying technology of Gen AI. And let's say you want to create your own Gen AI project. What should you do? Okay, so the first thing before you want to create an application is you need to define the use case. Basically, LLM are capable of carrying many tasks, okay, but the ability depends on the size and also the architecture of the model, okay. So that's why you need to define your use case first. Once you define your use case, you decide whether you want to use an existing model, okay, or you want to pre-train your own model. Okay, usually we will start from using an existing model, and after that you may need to do the adapt and align of the model, where you can use prompt engineering, fine tuning, and also align with human feedback. And of course, you need to also evaluate the performance of the model as well. And after that, you can actually deploy it, optimize and deploy the model for inference, and also augment the model and build your application. Basically, this project lifecycle is very highly iterative, because you may have to come back to this part, align, etc. Again and again while you are developing your application. So I was just go through like basically how do you choose or select your model. Okay, usually like I say, if you want to do a pre-trained model, you can do that. There are a few things that you need to consider. Basically, when you choose the pre-trained model, you want to maximize the performance and minimize the loss when predicting the token. Okay, so how you can do that? You can actually increase your data set size, number of tokens, or you can also increase your model size. But this always comes with certain things that you have to consider as well. One is a compute budget, okay, because this will be your constraint. Okay, like your GPU, your training time, your cost. So when you choose to pre-train your own model, you need to balance this out. Okay, once you have done that, then you want to adapt and align your model. You can do it using prompt engineering. Basically, like you can see here, these are the prompt, these are the completion, right? So how do you want to do a prompt engineering? Instead of just using the existing one, you may want to pose or craft the input queries to guide the AI model to produce accurate, relevant, and contextual response. These are some of the techniques that you can use, like few-shot learning, iterative refinement, contextual prompt, and also chain of thought prompting. But there are more other techniques that you can use. Basically, for iterative refinement, it involves posing questions, and then you observe the model's response and tweak the prompt based on the output. Okay, and it's a continuous feedback until the desired answer is achieved. Okay, usually we will start off with general prompt and make it a little bit more specific based on the initial prompt output. Few-shot learning is where you provide some examples within the prompt to guide the model to understand it. So for example, I love this ice cream. Okay, you can tell the prompt, okay, based on this, it's actually a positive sentiment. Okay, and if I don't like this chair, this is a negative sentiment. So you provide some examples to guide the AI. This is what we call a few-shot learning. Contextual prompt is also a prompt engineering techniques where you provide some background information or context within the prompt to set the stage for the output. For example, you given the recent advancement in generative AI, discuss the future of autonomous vehicle. This will actually give some background, and it helps the model to generate the response relevant to the provided context. Chain of thought is basically a step-by-step guide to achieve the desired output. It helps the model to break through the complex tasks, to provide a much more accurate result. So, for example, you guide it like first list the pro and con, then you provide the conclusion. So this is how you can use prompting and also prompt engineering to provide a much more accurate, relevant, and also appropriate response. But if the model is still not performing well after you do prompt engineering, sometimes you will need to do fine-tuning. Fine-tuning basically is a process to adjust the parameter of pre-trained LLM to a specific task or model. Like just now I shared some of the use case, like the use case by one of collaborator where they use Gen AI for ESG. So they actually train based on specific tasks or domain. They train the model to understand ESG better. Because why? Because if you use a pre-trained model like GPT, it has a lot of language knowledge, but they are not specialized in a specific area. So if you develop an application that, for the example just now that I gave on ESG, it may not provide a very good response on knowledge related or context related to ESG. So then you can fine tune to allow the model to learn domain specific data to make it more accurate for a specific application. So this is basically how the fine tune process works, where you have the raw data, it goes through the pre-trained LLM, and you include the knowledge base to provide a fine-tuned LLM. Okay, basically you want to do it if you want to do customization. You have a data compliance, like for example in healthcare industry, if you are using Gen AI for a healthcare application, you may want to fine-tune your LLM. Okay, because for healthcare they have data compliance. You also can use do fine-tuning if you have a limited label data for a specific application. Yeah. So, but the thing is this, when you do a fine-tuning, there is a tendency because to modify the way of the original LLM. And this can actually cause what we call a catastrophic forgetting. Because why? It improves the ability of the model to perform a single fine-tuned task, but it forget other tasks. Okay, so if you can see here, it talks about, I'm forgetting what I've learned. Okay, can you give me a flag? Basically, FLAN stands for fine-tuned language net. It's actually a specific set of instruction used to fine-tune different models. The catastrophic forgetting happens because when you modify the weight, then things will change, where it learns only on specific tasks and application, and is not general enough. That means if you want it to do other things, it will forget about it. So how do you want to avoid that? If your application is very specific, you have a very only single task performance, then this is not an issue. But you can also avoid this by fine-tune on multiple tasks, where you fine-tune on not on single tasks but on multiple tasks at the same time. Or you can use parameter efficient fine-tuning to focus adjusting not on the whole weight but only on small subset of the model parameter. Yeah, then you can avoid catastrophic forgetting. Once you have done this, the fine-tuning part, then you may want to align with human feedback. What does this mean? Basically, if you realize this, okay, when you put in your prompt, sometimes some people may put in a very dangerous topic, okay? You want your model, okay, your Gen AI, to actually avoid dangerous topic. You want to minimize harm, and you want to maximize the helpfulness of your application as well. So how do you do this? Basically, you can use reinforcement learning from human feedback to actually train your fine-tuned LLM to make it more human-aligned LLM. Okay, so as I say, if you can see here, when OpenAI actually publish ChatGPT, you know, people can literally make a bomb using ChatGPT. Okay, but right now, if you do that, you can just use your ChatGPT how to make a bomb. It will tell you, I'm really sorry, I can't assist with this. Okay, so this actually can through RLHF, it actually helps to make the Gen AI safer for the user, because that is what everyone is talking about, how to make AI safe. And especially if you are developing an application in the Europe, they have many laws to look into the safety of the AI. So now that you've adapted and you align, you want to integrate the model in the application. A few things you need to ask. Okay, how fast do you need a model to generate the completion? What compute budget that you have? How willing are you to trade off the model to improve the speeds and also lower the storage? And you may also want to see how do you want to interact with other data or other applications, and how you can connect with those applications. So that's why you need to do the optimization and deploy the model for inference, and also augment the models and build the LLM powered application. So these are some of the model optimization techniques available, like distillation, where you can actually use train the smaller student model from a large teacher model. This basically does not reduce the size of the LLM. You can also use quantization, where you reduce the model size and also the memory footprint. And also you can use prune LLM as well to actually prune your model. Yeah. This will actually help to reduce the model size. And for some method, it requires you to do a full retraining as well. Okay. Yeah. the objective of all these three LLM optimization is basically to reduce your model size so that you can use it for inferencing without impacting the accuracy. Because at the end of the day, when you develop your AI, Gen AI application, you want it to still maintain the accuracy as well. Okay, so now I have a question. Based on what we have go through, how do you think Gen AI could be applied to your cities? I will start this poll right now, and I would like to hear from you. How you think Gen AI could be applied to your cities? The reason I'm asking this because as we go, as we go through the e-workshops, we are going to dive through and help. If you have any project idea like developing innovation or using Gen AI for your cities, we would like to guide you through. And also we will link you with people who can bring you forward to build your capacity so that you can develop your application as well. Yeah. So I hope you can join this and provide your feedback. I'll just give you guys 5 minutes. To provide a response. Anyone? Oh, sorry. Let me just share again. Can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Oh, not yet.
Blinking.
Okay, let me just share the link. Let me just share the link in the chat. Oh, surprisingly. Okay. Can you guys access the chat? Okay, I can see from the poll, facility management, traffic suggestion. Yeah, traffic will be a good thing if we can use Gen AI to create application to guide you through, or even help us to manage the traffic, right? Urban planning, that will be very important. Can you guys hear me? I think my PC freeze.
I cannot see any green from you.
Cannot see. It just gave me a sec. Somehow I'm having problem. Sorry, somehow I can't share my screen anymore.
We'll reconnect, solve the problem. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, let me try to do that. Can you see my screen right now? How about now?
Still black screen.
Still blank. Oh, what happened?
I only can see your cursor.
Seriously? Okay, just give me a minute to reconnect. Okay, I think um I'll try while I reconnect. Yeah. Basically, if you can see from the pool, there's quite a lot of applications that we can develop or include Gen AI for the cities, like garbage management, traffic optimization, yeah, those are quite some of the application that you can think how to use and how to develop in your city. Okay, at the end of our e-workshops, by end of this month, right? Sorry, by end of this year, we are going to open up an innovation challenge. Please submit your ideas and so that we can bring all the people together in on-site workshop, so that we can have a better discussion and also looking at how we can bring different project ideas together. Yeah, for collaboration purpose as well. Yeah, I think that's all from my side, sorry that my PC kind of hang right now. So any question or not? If no question, then I will.
I have question.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
so
Doctor.
yeah, Dr. Chang, nice to meet you. So yeah, I have a question about. Before that, thank you so much for your very interesting topic in this afternoon. So I'm interested in the architecture in generative AI. So my question is, it is true that if we using a combination of encoder and decoder architecture in generative AI, so it will produce the better result, or it is the same as using only the decoder or encoder. So which is better?
It depends on the application. What you are doing. Are you looking at more from the input? Is the input enough? That means the weight is actually on the input, or is actually on the output, or you need both? Yeah. So, like for example, if you want to do a text summarization, then you just need to use the encoder. You don't need the decoder.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, because you depends on the input. Yeah, but if you want to do like you want to generate text and for conversation purpose, then you may want to use the decoder.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Prabhas.
Yeah. Thank you for giving this series. My question is you explained earlier that to be able to solve some specific tasks, there's some option to fine tune, but the
Yes.
issue of forgetting the previous knowledge is also another problem. How about with the without forgetting it and without do the fine tuning, because the fine tuning it has some costs on
Yes.
doing it.
Yes.
I mean, it's like a huge resource also.
Mm.
How about with the options about the RAG or the retrieval augmented generations? Is it true that we don't do the fine tuning but optimizing the output by doing some extra process in the finding the best prompting way?
Yes,
What
you
do you
can
think
do
about it?
that. You can still do that, but if that means if you don't do fine tuning, the model will be still a bit more general. It will be a general one.
Yeah.
So usually we will find you if you want a very, very specific, that means you build your application, your model for a very specific application. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. For example, I'm thinking like when applying the LLM into area of traffic classifications, so tackling about cybersecurity things where the label is quite dynamic, so maybe obsolete or something like that. Perhaps the instead of fine tuning, then providing some staging of the RAG is
Already.
helping the
Yeah,
process, right?
that is possible. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, you can do that as well. And any other question? If not, then I would like to introduce Ghazanfar Iqbal from AWS. I actually have a slide to introduce him, but somehow my PC is hang right now. So basically, he's the head of business development startup for Pakistan, Malaysia, and Singapore. He is also the author of the book Bytes Beyond Borders. Please go and buy it if you can. It's very interesting book. I've read the synopsis and some of the screenshots. Yeah, because he actually have a very well. He brings a wealth of experience in entrepreneurship, sales, marketing, and also cloud computing. And the book actually talks about his journey. Yeah, so Gus actually plays a very pivotal role at AWS. He engaged with funders, venture capitalists, incubators, accelerators, and also government programs to empower the startups by incorporating AWS cloud technology. Previously, he served as the country head of sales at Current, the first unicorn of MENA region, and is also a Acumen fellow. Gus also co-founded the first Pakistani startup, Autosahulat, to receive funding from Antler. So he have a very vast experience. He also served as a mentor for several organizations such as Endeavour Pakistan, Petronas Future Tech in Malaysia, to name a few. So I'll pass this session to Gus. Gus, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Yes.
How are you?
I'll pass it to you while I restart my PC. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure. Should I start?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Let me share my. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, we see. We can see.
Okay. So my session, I will try to keep it short, and I'll keep some minutes in the end for any question and questions you may have with regards to what I present today. So the topic that we are discussing today is how generative AI is supporting the technological revolution, especially in the field of smart cities. So for generative AI, I think analysts estimate that Gen AI will increase the global GDP by 7% over the next 10 years, and that 2/3 of all the US and Euro jobs will be directly affected by it, with the Gen AI market reaching over $100 billion by 2030. That's why 80% of the current AI research is focused mainly on Gen AI, and also why we hear from customers that they want to go fast and leverage their data to differentiate their business. And this will be the theme that we will try to talk about. But before that, a bit about myself. So I belong from our global startup business development team at AWS. Most of us are either ex-VCs or ex-founders, myself as well. And we are 200 people across the globe, spread around. And what we do is we partner with VCs that invest in startups, accelerator incubators that support the startup journey, and also other startup orgs, including government institutions that are supporting the overall startup ecosystem. Since we are all part of the ecosystem, either by investing in the startups or either founding the startups, we know what is on the ground, we know the reality, we have that community already going for us. And that's why this team was built in AWS from scratch that supports the overall ecosystem. I'll talk more in the end about how we help startups through several programs. But moving forward, in terms of my own introduction, a bit of which has already been shared. So yes, I recently published a book called Bytes Beyond Borders. There is a QR code, you can scan it, and I think if you have time, do read it. It talks about my professional journey as well as my personal experiences. So It's kind of an autobiography, but with a different taste to it. I call it a hybrid memoir that mixes the personal and professional experiences all together. And the topics that it covers is personal branding, storytelling, startups, corporate culture, and also my story. So originally, I'm from Pakistan. I have over 16 plus years of business development and sales experience. A few of the logos that you see on the screen are where I have been associated with. Kareem is one of ride-hailing unicorn from Middle East, which is the equivalent of Grab, if you don't know. And they were bought by Uber in 2017 for $3.2 billion. Similarly, I founded a startup called Auto Sahulat, which was basically an on mechanics demand platform to provide roadside assistance to vehicles. It was funded by Antler back in 2019. Currently, in my role, I manage 3 markets: Malaysia, where I'm based in, and I also manage Singapore and Pakistan, where I work with the ecosystem partners to support the scaling of the startups. You can also find me on LinkedIn. Again, the QR code is given if you want to add and connect with me later on. Okay, moving forward, let's start from Amazon's DNA. We are hearing a lot about generative AI, but it's important to note that at its core, generative AI is leveraging the latest advances in machine learning. Amazon and AWS have been working on AI and ML for more than 20 years, and is part of Amazon's heritage, ethos, and future. A few examples that you can see on the screen are e-commerce recommendation engine is driven by machine learning. The parts that optimize robot picking routes and our fulfillment centers are driven by ML, and our supply chain forecasting and capacity planning are informed by ML as well. Prime Air, our drones and the computer vision technology in Amazon Go, our physical retail experience that lets consumers select items off shelf and leave the store without having to formally check out, use deep learning. Then Alexa, powered by more than 30 different machine learning systems, billions of customers, billions of times actually, customers each week reach out to manage smart homes, shops, get information and entertainment and more. So the idea of giving this slide over here and the context is that since our advent, when we started Amazon.com, our e-commerce business back in the late 90s, we have been at it from the artificial intelligence and machine learning and continuously evolving our technology accordingly, and wherever we can manage, automate, and use it efficiently, we are already doing that. So this is a bit of a landscape. Obviously, you cannot see it in its entirety, but we have more than 100,000 customers right now that are using Amazon Web Services for machine learning. So at AWS, we play a key role in democratizing machine learning and making it accessible to anyone who wants to use it, including the landscape of all of these customers that are currently working with us. So generative AI has taken the world by storm because we have been able to, through consumer-facing applications like ChatGPT, experience how powerful the latest machine learning models have become. While a lot of attention has been given to how consumers are using generative AI, we think there is an even bigger opportunity in how business will use it to deliver amazing experiences for their customers and employees. So the true power of Gen AI goes beyond a search engine or a chatbot. It will transform every aspect of how companies and organizations operate. So the potential of Gen AI is incredibly exciting, with Goldman Sachs forecasting a $7 trillion increase in global GDP and lift productivity growth by 1.5 percentage points over a 10-year period. So when we think about Gen AI, we can think in terms of capabilities and inputs, outputs. All these capabilities involve creativity. Gen AI is creating something new. So most models focus on one type of media, like text, which is right now pretty popular as well. But some models are multimodal. That is, they handle multiple types of media. For example, I could generate Corona on the beach, and Corona, the company that makes this beer, could have hired a photographer and flown him to all the best beaches in the world to capture these photographs you see on the screen, or we could just ask the computer to generate them. What if we wanted to launch a new dog food called Wag? Could we ask for a particular dog in a particular place? Could we scale that so that the dog and the place we chose based on the shopper? Imagine if ads are specific to your dog's breed and your nearby city. So all of this, which was previously not possible in a way it is right now, and it's more cost efficient, more quicker, and you have more options. You tend to be more productive in utilizing these tools as compared to in the past. So the idea is to do more with less. Over the past 25 years, employees' productivity has increased dramatically, and GenAI will push that trend even further. It's important that employers free their employees from constant, mundane, low value, repetitive tasks and find ways to accelerate their creativity. The data that you see over here is taken from PwC, where workers needed at S&P 500 companies to generate 1 million in revenue. So we think that Gen AI is going to integrate within the companies and is going to increase the productivity and the creativity in the near future. So it's important to note that at its core, Gen AI is leveraging the latest advances in machine learning. It's not magic, but the latest evolution in a technology that has been evolving, like I shared in the earlier slides, that most of the companies, especially in the big tech sector, are at it since the advent of their creation. So what makes foundational models special is that they can perform so many more tasks because they contain such a large number of parameters that make them capable of learning complex concepts. And through their pre-training exposure to internet scale data in all its various forms and methods of patterns, foundational models learn to apply their knowledge within a wide range of contexts. While the capabilities and resulting possibilities of a pre-trained foundational models are amazing, customers get really excited because these generally capable models can also be customized to perform domain-specific functions that are differentiating to their businesses, use only a small fraction of the data, and compute required to train a model from scratch. So it's a constant where the Gen AI is the next step in artificial intelligence. It is going to reinvent every application we interact with at work and also at home. So we are ready to help you reinvent with Gen AI because we think differently about what it takes to meet your needs, and we reinvent again and again to deliver. And because we are intimately familiar with what it means to reinvent ourselves, we know how to help you with your own reinventions. And this is the mindset that we have over here in AWS that we share with our customers, that whatever the problem there is for them, we are happy to approach it, even if we don't have the solution right now. We have the capabilities to work with them, to collaborate with them to find that particular solution. So from startups to enterprises, organizations of all sizes are getting started with generative AI. They want to take the momentum they are building with early experiments and turn it into real world productivity gains and innovations. We think about Gen AI as having the bottom layer at AWS. So the bottom layer is the infrastructure used to train foundational models and run these models in production. Then we have a middle layer, The middle layer provides access to all the large language models and other foundational models you need, and to the tools you need to build and scale generative AI applications with them. And then finally, there is a top layer built on this pyramid. And at this layer, we have applications built leveraging foundational models so that you can take advantage of Gen AI quickly and without any specialized knowledge, you can utilize these. Recently, we did few updates to Amazon Q as well. So Amazon Q is available in Amazon Q Business. It's available in developer mode, in a quick site mode, and also in a connect mode. You can search the web later on them, but the idea is, for instance, Amazon Q Developer is previously our service called Amazon Code Whisperer, which is now Amazon Q Developer. So you write a bit of syntax of the code and it gives you the whole code, or you want to review your code, or you want to co-assist Amazon Q Developer in helping you in coding. And there has been a saying recently as well that in the near future, we might not need to code as well because human language is going to become the coding. So you will write in your own language what exactly you want, and the application is going to provide you with the program. So this is where in the near future we are going. Then Amazon Q Business is where you can integrate your softwares and it can help you. For example, Salesforce. A lot of companies use Salesforce for their management of customer relations data, managing their sales, managing their business development initiatives and whatnot. So every company has a different use case. So Salesforce actually creates a customized platform for each of these companies based on their requirements. So you can actually integrate tools like Amazon Q to get the inputs. So you don't need to go through all of these uh, big links where you have these help with regards to all the software. Help is given that this is where you need to click, this is where you need to go. So your learning becomes quite faster because as you are working, it gives you the suggestions what to do and what not to do. So the idea behind generative AI stack for us is that we think that it is a whole ecosystem that starts from the bottom where you build the infrastructure, where there are hardware chips that train these foundational models to be trained. And then there is a middle layer where you have these foundational models helping you to build those large language models. And then on top, there are applications that you can actually utilize. So companies come to us that have multiple business units, dozens of engineering teams, and hundreds of use cases to explore. They need a way to simplify and standardize the use of Gen AI. So they don't want to worry about manually scaling solutions. They want to confident. They want to be confident in working in small and large settings. Don't want to choose just one FM. This area is changing fast, and today's best won't be tomorrow's best. Want an easy way to implement their RAGs when RAG isn't sufficient. They want to fine tune the foundational models while still securing their data. So there are different aspects to it. And we can actually provide a service through which they can customize these foundational models. So for this, we actually created a service called Amazon Bedrock. So Amazon Bedrock is basically a fully managed service that offers a choice of high performing foundational models from leading AI companies via single API, along with a broad set of capabilities you need to build generative AI applications with security, privacy, and responsible AI. So using Amazon Bedrock, you can easily experiment with evaluating top foundational models for your use case and then privately customize them with your data using techniques such as fine tuning and retrieval augmented generation, short for RAG, and build agents that execute tasks using your enterprise systems and data sources. Since Amazon Bedrock is serverless, you don't have to manage any infrastructure and you can securely integrate and deploy your Gen AI capabilities into your application using the AWS services you are already familiar with. So these are a few of the foundational models that are currently available, and we are constantly trying to add more. So Amazon Bedrock falls under that easiest way to build philosophy because it makes foundational models available through a scalable, reliable, and secure AWS managed service. So we offer the ability of access to a range of powerful foundational models and for text and images, including our very own Amazon's Titan. So in addition to Titan, Amazon Bedrock offers to access to foundational models from A121 Labs, Stability AI, Anthropic, and Cohere. Plus, we recently added Meta's Llama 2, all accessible via an API. With the comprehensive capabilities of Amazon Bedrock, retailers can easily experiment with a variety of top foundational models and privately customize them with their data techniques such as fine tuning and retrieval augmented generation. So Anthropic is pretty famous right now. It has Claude 3, which I think a month ago they launched, and their Claude 3 has then three models. The most advanced one is Opus, that doesn't compete with Chat GPT. But the idea is that every company, every retailer, every customer, every enterprise, every startup out there, they have a different use case. And for your own use case, you require maybe Cohere or you require a Meta AI or Anthropic foundational model, right? And because these models can be very, very expensive to very, very cheap, to be very, very efficient, to be not so efficient. So it depends upon your requirements. Are you willing to spend how much and in what capacity for your own use cases? So giving customers their liberty and freedom to choose and select based on their requirements is what Amazon Bedrock is basically doing over here. So things are moving fast. That I'm sure that this depiction that I'm showing over here might be already out of date, but it shows there are many foundational models available on many clouds. It's difficult, if not impossible, to pick winners. So customers want to choose what makes sense to them with the ability to switch later. So the idea of setting up this context for this presentation was that how the generative AI can actually help in terms of building the sustainable smart cities of the future. So moving from setting up this information, I think when it comes to smart cities, let's start with energy, right? Which is critical to run the cities of the future. Now, the current market trends in energy and utilities focus on the transition to lower carbon sources, enhancing infrastructure security and decarbonizing customer energy usage. So, generative AI can actually optimize these areas by improving energy efficiency, enhancing cybersecurity, and supporting renewable energy integration. So leveraging AI in smart cities will drive sustainability, resilience, and efficiency in the energy sector. So next up, few of the use cases that are over here that we are working with. I'm not going to go through each one of them, but later you can go through our AWS website to get more details on them. But I'll talk about NG, the second one. So they have been migrating to SAP / for HANA on AWS, which resulted in 50% reduction in infrastructure cost and 10x ROI from just automation. Common Data Hub brought data together across the company, breaking down silos and bringing visibility across geographies, projects, and aiding the transition to zero carbon. So more than 100,000 prediction models developed and trained for equipment such as valves, pumps, ventilation, air conditioning, heating systems. 10,000 pieces of equipment will ultimately be connected and benefiting from predictive maintenance within 5 years for NG power plants and the group's B2B customers. So the estimated saving that we are expecting for this company is close to 1 million euros per year. And then there are some other companies that we are also working with that are using our services in utilizing our different services. So Amazon Web Services has around 250 plus services that you can actually go through, and each service can be utilized according to your, again, use cases. Then I think in the early presentation we talked about the traffic, how to manage that. So these are a few of the ways, because Amazon e-commerce is basically where we do all of our logistics. So GenAI can actually revolutionize smart cities by leveraging video analytics and remote inspection technologies similar to Amazon's application. It can improve urban infrastructure management, enhance traffic flow, and optimize public safety by monitoring and analyze real-time data. Additionally, AI can facilitate efficient resource allocation and predictive maintenance, ensuring cities run smoothly and sustainability. And we can definitely help with that, because we at Amazon have over 1.5 million just in our workforce. Most of this workforce is in our e-commerce business. And in the scale that we are running on, we are constantly trying to make it more efficient. And to make it more efficient, we have to utilize our tech stack accordingly. And GenAI perfectly sits at a place where it can help us. Now, from the startup perspective, how you can actually go through and start over. So at AWS Startup, we have several programs in place that support startups. Uh, since we are focusing more on the smart cities, so I will not go through each program in depth, but these are the 9 basic programs that support the startups. The first and foremost is AWS Activate Credits, where we provide credits to startups to start building on AWS. And what does that mean is basically you don't need to spend money when you are building on cloud. We can actually translate it into credits. And since most of the startups, especially in the early stage, they are looking to raise investment, or they are looking to save money to invest somewhere else, to hire the right people, to build their infrastructure or whatnot. So in that sense, the AWS Activate is definitely going to help. The credits that we provide are from $1,000 all the way to $100,000. There are terms and conditions to it, obviously, and they are provided through our Activate providers, which includes our VCs, accelerators, incubators, and other startup orgs. Then there's a program called Startup Migrate. So let's say you are building on another cloud and you want to move to AWS. So there is a cost in moving from one cloud to another cloud, and we understand that. So we can help in that migration and transferring of your technology from one cloud to another in the form of credits. Proof of concept is where most of the startups are always experimenting with bringing in new products. Some of these products, some of these features sometimes work, sometimes they don't work, but that's the experimentation that is always happening. And not just in startups, I believe it happens in bigger companies as well. But we give credits to test something new, and if it works, you scale it and you pay us accordingly. Otherwise, you can always shut it down. So we can provide you credits to experiment with your ideas as well. Jumpstart is where we have different partners at our end that we can assign you so they can help you in building on AWS cloud if you don't have the technical capabilities. Well architected review is where our solution architect team, which is our tech team at AWS, can come and see your tech stack that you have built on the cloud and can review and help you in terms of making it more efficient and cost effective. Then we have mentorship program where we run different accelerators across the globe. We ran a global Gen AI accelerator last year for which we selected 20 startups. We ran one in Southeast Asia with Accelerating Asia as well. So sometimes we run them directly, we run them with our partners. Then we have a partner global startup program where you can actually become our partner if you are in B2B SaaS. Then there is AWS Marketplace where we have over 100,000 customers that are looking and finding the B2B services So if you are in the cloud business and you want to be listed over there, that is the program for it. And finally, Amazon Launchpad, if you are building something in the e-commerce side. Since we started from e-commerce, we have the experience over there, so we can connect you with the Amazon team in terms of supporting you accordingly. I'll take a few more minutes in terms of the credit because that is something very, very important for most of the startups out there. Like I mentioned, we provide $1,000 to $100,000 of credits to each startup. It depends upon your monthly cloud spend. How much is your monthly cloud spend? Based on that, you can get that kind of amount from us. So anything that is equal to $25,000 or below is valid for 2 years. Anything that is above $25,000 is valid for 1 year. More on this you can find on startups.aws. The other benefits that we provide with credits is exclusive discounts through many of our partners. And these discounts are translated into the services that you can utilize within your companies. Everything is available on our Activate website, so you can definitely go through it and get all the insights. Lastly, just want to mention what Bezos said. So he highlighted that we had three big ideas at Amazon that we have stuck with for 20 plus years, and they are the reason for our success. Put the customer first, invent, and be patient. So with this new emerging technology, there is a lot of excitement as well. But we at Amazon believe that it is not a sprint; it's a marathon. So it's very early stage right now in this emerging technology. There is a lot going on in terms of even the governments don't understand what kind of regulations need to be in place. Even the technology companies don't understand what is right, what is wrong, what kind of data has been fed into these models. Is it the right kind of data set, and what the future is going to look like? To be very honest, nobody exactly knows. So it's a marathon, right? You learn along the way. So you need to be patient. If you are starting today, if you are building the future companies of tomorrow, whether in the space of smart cities or somewhere else in any business vertical, you have to always be patient because at the right time you will hit the spot. There have been many failures at Amazon. We started Fire tablets, we started Fire phones, we started a lot of companies you can search around within the Amazon umbrella. Some of them worked and they worked successfully and they made us billions. Some of them failed as well. Maybe it is not the right time, or maybe that was not the right time. So you need to be patient. And when it comes to customer first, it is more about our customer obsession. So rather than focusing on what the competition is doing, you should come up with a product that your customer requires. Because if you understand your customer, that is where it actually aligns. If your customer is on board, then you don't need to worry about the competition. And invent is where you are always constantly reinventing. I shared a few slides in terms of reinventing going on, where we build up hardware stack of chips that train large language models and foundational models. On the middle layer, we build those foundational models. On top, we build those applications that you can utilize. So invention is a constant and it's always going to change. And if you have these three things, then you can actually go and start building. So I will just conclude the session over here. I will give you guys some time in terms of asking any questions based on this presentation or anything related to AWS or any of our startup programs.
Okay, thank you very much, Gus. So, any questions the participants have for Gus? Anyone? I'm quite impressed because AWS actually have quite a lot of initiatives for startups, for innovators. So I do hope like the participants can utilize this as well in thinking of the innovations that you want to create. Yeah, especially for sustainable cities.
Absolutely. There are a lot of companies. I shared a few of the case studies as well. They can go through later on. I think we have a question. Somebody raised their hand.
Mm,
Yes.
yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, but this one.
Okay, I have a question. What's common AWS managed service that used by customer for creating generative AI models? I, I I know that SageMaker is commonly used, but I believe that SageMaker cannot must be supported by another AWS managed service, right? To creating a model and so on. I think that's my question. Thank you.
Thank you. So basically, Bedrock, Amazon Bedrock is our fully managed service that I shared a slide on. You can find more details on it. That's where we put in all our large language and foundational models. And you can access these models through APIs to start building generative AI applications. And previously, there were no credits offered through Amazon Bedrock. So it was a bit costly to start building. But a month ago, we started providing AWS Activate credits. So you can get credits from us and start building through Amazon Bedrock. So it's not through SageMaker, it's through Amazon Bedrock that you build generative AI applications mostly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Any other questions?
If there are no questions, I think we can call it. I think if you are interested to work more with AWS, especially in the startup phase, please take a screenshot or a picture of this slide. These are few of our programs, and also go through our Activate website. You will find more details over there. You will also find a link to where most of the startups that we are working with are currently. PitchBook, which is a third-party platform, which basically shows funding details and funding landscape globally of how many startups have been invested by who and what we see at what date. So they recently did this press release where they said 80% of the startup unicorns are building on AWS. So that kind of gives us the landscape of how much invested we are within the $1 billion plus companies. And we have these best practices in place. So if you are building something in any of the fields out there, chances are we already have a company that is building. So you can actually replicate those best practices, those tech stacks that they are using, or those services to start building your company somewhere else as well. Yeah. So it can actually be kind of a copy paste as well, where you see that there is a gap within Southeast Asia that can be covered through a company that has been built in also ANZ region, Australia, New Zealand region, or in US or Europe, and that you can bring over here. So you can actually take that tech stack and replicate that tech stack over here and start building accordingly as well. And we can help you in terms of through all of these programs to scale and sustain yourself. And once you sustain yourself, then you start paying us. So the amount of $100,000 is quite a lot of amount, because myself being an ex-founder, if you get $100,000 off credits, that saves you quite a lot of money in terms of focusing that money somewhere else where you can actually bring your company to a revenue positive stage. So yeah, thank you so much. Yeah.
That's just maybe I'll just ask like how if the participants are interested, do they just go to the website to sign up or how does it goes for these startup programs?
So for $1,000 of credits, they just go to website and apply accordingly. They need to have an AWS ID. But for anything else, the higher slabs, which are $5,000, $10,000, $25,000, and $75,000, they need to reach out to one of our partners. They can find the partner details on the AWS website. They can reach out to me through LinkedIn as well. We have our scouts available. Scouts are individuals that have authorization to give up to $5,000 of credits. And these are the people that are from the startup ecosystem. And they can reach out to them through us, or they can reach out to our partners. If just I talk about Malaysia, most of the ecosystem players are working with us, whether it is my startup, 500 Global, Gobi, Maranti, 1337 Ventures, MDEC. So everybody is one way or the other working with us. So you can reach out to any of these partners and get the credits through them as well. Or you can reach out to me through LinkedIn. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. So if there is no other question, thanks guys for your sharing. I'll just share a bit about our upcoming events. So basically, next month we are going to have another e-workshops on the 10th of June, where Ali bin Fatum from AWS Europe will actually share on building a scalable and interoperable smart city platform using the Gartner framework. So for Pak Abbas, Pak Niswa, this is basically what we talk about in terms of the open data platform, where we want to have a standardized data model for where we can share data and also build innovations using those data. Yeah, please join us as well. For those not familiar, you can still join us and learn how this framework works and how cities can benefit from using the kind of framework. Yeah. And for those who are new, you can join us, join our LinkedIn page and also the WhatsApp group so that we can share the learnings and also spark debates in the group. We will also update it in the LinkedIn page and WhatsApp group all our activities, including the innovation challenge that we will open sometime in September. Yeah, and there will be an on-site workshop in Penang in November. So for selected participants, we will find you to come so that we can also have in-person meeting as well. Yeah, and guys, we do hope that you can join us for the in-person workshop as well. Yeah. So if there's no other questions, then thank you very much for participating. And I hope to see everyone again in the next e-workshop. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. See you.
See you.